Hey, Jessica, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm really good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. I'm so glad to get this opportunity to coach as a fellow coach woman. I know you and I both just really believe in the power of this.
Yeah.
So, how this session is going to happen is we're going to do a shorter session today just to kind of get to show everyone what coaching really is like. So, it'll be about 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm going to start off by asking you 5 questions, and feel free to, this just helps stir up and bring to focus some of your thoughts about different things. But feel free to share as much as you want within each of these questions. And it will just help us get more clear about the focus of the call and then what kind of outcomes you're looking for. So there are no wrong answers. All of this is just to help um, bring clarity to some of your thoughts that have been bouncing around in your head. As one person, as a coach said to me one time, she said, I'm just sitting right next to you in the car trying to help you navigate your brain. And I loved that. I thought that was perfect. So I'm just helping you navigate your brain. All of this is confidential. And again, there's no wrong answers. It's just to help explore.
Great. Fantastic.
Good, good. So Jessica, what would you like to focus on today?
So as you know, I'm starting my own coaching business as well. And I'm really excited about it. And I feel even that the skills that I've learned to be a coach through the PCCI, Professional Christian Coaching Institute, have really equipped me to do good about it. And I'm really want to help people in this way. But I am feeling, and I actually also feel like I have kind of a good long-term vision for it, like what I wanted to do at the end. But I am a little bit stuck with where to start. I feel like there's so much information out there on the internet and so many podcasts you can listen to and so many things. I just feel a little stuck with where to start.
Okay. Yep. Stuck with where to start. That makes sense. And so you'd like to focus on how you're feeling stuck with where to start. And what makes that so important to you? I'm assuming you're saying you'd kind of like to get unstuck. So what makes it so important to you at this time to try to get unstuck?
Yeah, it's important to me because, if I don't get past this step, all of the training that we've done is for nothing, and so I would really like to get started with helping people. So that's why it's important.
Yeah. Started with helping people. Wow. Yeah. And so by the end of the call, what would you like to have achieved?
Let me think. I guess I would like some awareness about what is keeping me stuck, kind of what's the deeper things behind the action that I'm not taking,
Mhm.
and maybe a new mindset for that would be helpful.
Okay.
Then maybe some takeaway, kind of like just real concrete action steps.
Concrete action steps. Can you think of an amount of concrete action steps that would feel like a win for you?
I think I've struggled a little bit with overwhelm. So probably just one would be great.
Yeah.
You can just do one, then I won't get confused. Which one should I start with? Just do the one. So, yeah.
That is great. Yeah. And so what do you feel like you need to address in order to achieve getting to this concrete action step and perhaps changing your mindset about feeling stuck?
What do I need to address? I guess I would need to address some like what's currently going on in my schedule that I feel like is preventing me from having like focused time to work on moving the needle. And and maybe what my current mindset is that is preventing me.
Yeah. Okay. So perhaps some schedule stuff and mindset things. And so how will you know whether or not you have achieved feeling unstuck, coming up with action steps, and addressing your mindset?
I think I'll know if I feel kind of excited and motivated. Like at the end of this call, if I'm like, oh, let's go do it, then I think I'll know. Like I'm feeling motivated. I'm not feeling that stuck, like overwhelmed, don't know what to do next kind of thing.
Okay. Excited, motivated. I even heard that in your voice right there of getting excited and motivated. So just to recap, you said you'd like to focus on getting unstuck, figuring out where to start because you're passionate about helping people and you're looking for an action step towards gaining awareness, perhaps some things that are stopping you or your schedule, maybe a mindset, because you want to feel excited and motivated about taking these next steps.
You got it. That's it.
That feels like a recap. Okay. So you said some big emotion words you said were overwhelmed and then excited, motivated.
Mhm.
Which one feels more like where you are right now?
Definitely like the overwhelm and doubt, actually, which I actually didn't think I was much of a doubty person. I usually feel pretty confident, but I feel like I'm feeling doubt because almost every day I'll just like kind of change my mind a little bit on things like, oh, I've really been thinking about this niche for a long time, but now I want to change it to this one. And I'm trying to figure out, is that my brain just trying to keep me from doing anything? Or is that the really useful work that I'm doing in my brain that will lead me to the perfect niche?
Mhm.
So yeah, so that doubt and overwhelm, I would say.
Mhm. What would figuring out your niche help you to do?
I think it would help me focus in, because one of the things is I have so many ideas. I have so many things I want to do. And, I'm just kind of like, man, it would be really helpful and useful if I just did like a decluttering program for moms, or like, what if we did, for newlyweds, like, what if we just really focus on emotional connection? It's just like, it's like so many, a million ideas. And I honestly think that all of them would be wonderful and helpful, but I just am having trouble focusing in, narrowing it down to like, what do I really want to do? And then not going back on it. Cause that's the thing. Like so many times I've like picked something. I'm like, all right, this is it. We're doing it. And then like the next day I'm like, no, this is not so good. We're gonna do this other.
Mhm.
So
Okay. So many ideas, figuring one out and not going back on it.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
How does that make you, or what stirs up in you thinking about narrowing down your niche or an idea?
Like, I feel like I just took a deep breath when you said that, because like I felt like chest tightness, like immediately, like when you said like narrowing it down, like I guess it makes me feel constrained. Like it makes me feel like a little trapped, I guess. Like, or maybe I'll feel like I made the wrong decision like in a month or two and be like, wow, this isn't working. This, I wish I'd pick something different.
Mhm. Mhm. How narrow do you feel like your niche has to be?
Well, I've heard lots of things from lots of people, so many opinions, and so many people are like, the riches are in the niches. And then, I asked Chris McCluskey from our school what his opinion was on it. And he said to make it more broad. So instead of like, so he said, yeah, just do all Christian women, you know, whereas other people I've talked to who have kind of some business experience and stuff have said, oh no, like newlywed Christian women in their first year of marriage, like the more specific you can get, the better. And so I feel like I'm getting all this different advice and I don't really know, it's kind of conflicting in my head.
Mhm. So if you could draw up the exact niche you do choose to work with, regardless of what everybody else says, what would it be?
See, that's the problem. It changes like every day. So I'm like, forget it. I'm just doing this. So, I mean, most recently, I would say what got me the most excited is probably narrowing it down to just newlywed Christian women. And because when I think about that, I know exactly who's my audience. I know exactly what kind of places they're probably going to. I can think back to my own first year of marriage, which wasn't an easy ride. And I can like remember, man, if someone had just helped me out with this thing at the beginning, like it would have saved me so much trouble later on, so I think I feel better about that. But I also, then the next day I'll be like, but I really just care about Christian moms. Like, I just want to help them with like their toddlers and potty training and sleep training, So I do think this is the problem. Like my long-term vision is I do want to have like all these different niches. Like I have an umbrella of like Christian women in relationships. So it's like, newlywed, new mom, maybe in-laws. And so I think overall, like Christian women in relationships is where I'm going, but I don't know where to start. I'm worried if I get this thing going and I'm only focused on newlyweds, will it be weird if I add in these other things later? Because people are like, wait, you're the newlywed coach. And now you're trying to say other things. So.
Do you feel like those other things would be in conflict with the newlywed coach or then going to helping young moms?
I guess not, as long as I pick a name that's all encompassing, like if I say I'm the newlywed coach, then I feel like maybe it would be weird if you're like, but also moms. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is picking a name part of the feeling stuck?
Partly. I had already kind of decided on soul care coaching, which I feel like is kind of a, overall, like I want to help Christian women with their hearts, their minds, their bodies, and their spirits, which I feel like is soul, and so I feel like taking care of your own soul and being really connected with that, understanding what's going on in your heart and your mind, and taking care of yourself really strengthens relationships, right? It starts with you and it overflows onto the people around you. And so I feel like that's a good name for all of the Christian women that I could.
Yeah. So you have a name. It sounds like you almost have a tagline with hearts, minds, bodies, spirits. Is that how you said it?
Yeah. Body, spirit. Yeah.
You talked about an umbrella, or the focus being the umbrella of Christian women in relationships. What stirs up for you thinking of an umbrella versus an umbrella of focus versus earlier you had said sometimes picking out a niche makes you feel constrained?
Yeah. I feel like it's more open. So I feel like a little bit more freedom to kind of talk about a lot of different things. But I feel like all the business advice is the opposite. It's like, it's counterintuitive, but the niche down you are, the better. People who are dealing with the exact thing that you're talking about are the ones who want to find you, rather than you're just like, I'm a life coach, I help with everything. So,
but then you did mention that Chris
McCluskey
said opposite.
Yeah, right. He was one of the ones who said, you can just start here. And so that's where I feel stuck.
That's hard to get conflicting advice. What's coming up for you now?
Let me think what's coming up. I guess this other thought too, that's many people have also said, another opinion, is like, just pick one and start. It's not, doesn't have to be perfect. Like if you just pick one and start, like then it's really more of like a momentum thing, I think, like just continuing to create content, put it out there and do it consistently. Even if it's average, you'll be above average if you can do it consistently, And so I guess that's what I need to do. Just pick one and at least say for a certain amount of time. Like, so for like the first year or something, say for the first year, I'm just going to try to do the newlyweds. And if at the end of this year, if I feel like I've shown up and I've put stuff out there that I feel like would reach this audience and would help them, really help them, then if at the end of the year, if we're not anywhere, no one's responding to it, then I could possibly change. But if I change every day, I'm never going to get any momentum.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You had mentioned previously possibly some fear within the hesitation.
Mm-hmm.
What comes up for you of thinking of just picking one and starting?
I guess the fear is with that one in particular, with the newlywed thing. It's been a long time since I've been a newlywed. So I'm kind of like, I remember there were some hard things, but like, how connected am I with that world and what they really need and what they're really going through? And with Christian moms, I'm like, well, I live it every day. I see a million examples of, problems I could help people with, every day, from decluttering their house and meal planning and relationships with their children and with their husband and with in-laws. And, I feel like there's a lot, but I'm sure that there's just as many with newlyweds. And it is something I'm passionate about because I want to help like set their trajectory for the rest of their lives. Like, I feel like if I can help people in their first year, then create that like emotional bond with their spouse, and set up these really good habits, then long-term, like that will really help them in this trajectory. And they, that will help their children because it will trickle down to them. And I can just see the long-term effects being very positive for them. So I do care about that, I think. And maybe if I just ask a lot of newlyweds, what things are you struggling with? Then I'll figure out what things I need to focus on helping them with.
But part of coaching is trusting that they have the answer within them. So
Right. Exactly.
how much work do you need to do to figure out the problems, or will they'll
just probably bring them? But I think what I'm specifically talking about is marketing, like to do the kind of, to bring them in. And then, once I'm there coaching them, they can tell me whatever problem it is, but how do you get them to come if, you haven't done the marketing? So this
understanding the pain point.
Right. Exactly.
I see. That makes perfect sense. So, so we still are discussing. I see what's going on for you of feeling the where to start.
Yeah.
So when we began this call, you said you're feeling stuck, where to start. What do you feel like it would take for you to just decide on a niche or decide on an umbrella and take the first step?
What would it take for me to decide? That's a good question. Let me think for just 1 second. I guess it would take confidence, which is the opposite of the doubt that I've been feeling, like just confidence that I can do this, that it would, even if I really narrowed it down to just the newlywed niche, which I actually, you said tagline earlier, and I thought a cute tagline would be, what's after happily ever after? Right? Isn't that cute? And then
that's a good one.
Something like design your happily every day. Isn't that cute? I'm like, that would help people like create a vision, because they always have this like really specific, crystal clear idea of what they want their wedding day to be like, but like how many people even thought about what they want in the future, So I guess I get pretty excited when I think about that, like, and I think probably part of the fear and doubt is just me wanting to stay safe. Because like, as long as I'm not moving forward, I'm not really putting myself out there in the world. No one can critique it. No one can criticize it. I'm just here making it seem perfect in my brain. So I guess I need an acceptance that like the fear and the doubt are part of the process. It doesn't actually mean something's really wrong. It just means that I'm doing something new and my brain is freaking out about that. And so just kind of allowing that to be there and still taking steps to start marketing with the
You mentioned about putting it out there and people might critique it or criticize it. Who do you think those people would be?
internet trolls. I don't know. Sometimes, I think within the Christian world, we can actually kind of be cruel to each other, too. And I have a bit of people pleasing in me. I like it when people agree with me. I think this is normal, but I like it when people agree with me. And I generally, I don't know, I guess I just have a little fear. Like, what will I make it mean about me if they say, well, what did you say that for? That was stupid, or, so all of that. I felt like when I did a business before, but I was kind of behind the scenes, and it wasn't like my thoughts were out in the world for people to critique. It was like I was putting these like princess characters out into the world, and we got really really wonderful reviews from that. But I never really felt like I was vulnerable or exposed by that. Like I felt, well, if they critique my princesses, like they just don't like that. But like now I feel like this is such a personal thing. This is me like creating a brand of my name. This is me like putting my own face on the screen. This is me like saying my own thoughts about things for marketing. Like I said, like once they come to coach with me, then it's all of their thoughts and everything. But the marketing part just really terrifies me, that they're gonna, and if they critique what I say or who I am or something, then I might believe those thoughts are true.
Yeah.
And I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, so feedback is a big deal to me. It's probably a good growth path too, though, right? Enneagram, Emily?
That's good self-awareness that might be what's stirring up there. So how big is this marketing piece playing in feeling stuck?
I think it's huge. I think it is the thing. Like, that's really good insight that I didn't actually have before now. So thank you for that. I'm scared of everything about marketing, like the whole being salesy and like pushy and, just the whole offering someone something they don't want. It's just something I don't want to be. I don't want to do. I want to offer something that would actually be valuable for someone, and help them, but I don't want to push it on anyone. And so yeah, I feel maybe that's what we need to do on our next session, Emily, is how to have a marketing mindset that will really help me. Yeah.
There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because how would you be pushing it on people that don't want it?
It's kind of like the idea of like cold calling, or like if I called up, people who have been like, oh, interesting coaching. That's like, sounds like a good idea. Like, if I was like, hey, do you want me to coach you? Like, it just feels like, I don't know. I don't want anyone to ever say yes, just because I asked them. I want them to feel the freedom to say, no, I don't really want that. But I'm afraid people would be like, feel pressured maybe because they're just trying to protect me. I don't know.
Have there been other ways in your previous job or where you market without asking for the sale? You let people know your services, but it's not directly asking for them to immediately sign up for, in this instance, a call with you.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, with the princess business, I felt like I just put videos and pictures of the princesses out there, and it was very beautiful and colorful, and people they gravitated to that because they were like, oh yeah, my kid's birthday is coming up. That would be a great idea. And they just signed up. And I didn't feel like I had to do a whole lot of marketing. We did a lot of we gave away a lot of free events at the beginning, especially, and just got ourselves out there so people could see them and see the quality we were providing. And then it felt more organic. And this, I don't know why. I feel like with this, it would feel more pushy.
Because before you said you just got yourselves of the princesses, but you got yourself out there and just showed people what the product was without asking to close
Right.
the deal.
Right. Yeah.
Are there ways you could get yourself out there with coaching, especially coaching newlyweds, where you're not having to immediately ask them to sign up, but you're just letting them know what you offer?
That's a really good question. Yeah. I mean, I think offering content about unconditional love. I kind of have thought through this a little bit of like, what would my 3 main things I would want to market be about? And like, I think unconditional love, radical truth, and boundaries. Kind of a good like 3-legged stool of relationship.
Sorry.
So it's fine. And so I feel like maybe if I just focused on, putting that just consistently on my Instagram, just a little tidbit about those things, and made videos and posted them on Instagram. I'm mostly just focusing on Instagram again for the overwhelm factor. At first I was kind of trying to do lots of platforms, but I just kind of feel like I need to master one at a time. So maybe if I just for Instagram said I'm just going to start posting, 3 to 5 times a week with these 3 subjects, kind of like rotating. That would be good. And then in between, like say I'm going to post 5 times a week, I could do love, truth, and boundaries 3 of the times. And then the other 2 times I could do a little what is coaching kind of tidbit, like what is coaching? Like what would I get from that? And then maybe a piece that I feel like I do want people to know that they can trust me before they sign up with me, because I think that's one of the big things is like, how will I know if I connect with that person? There's so many coaches in the world, there's therapists and there's so many, but like, I want to know if I could connect with them. So maybe if one of my days, I just consistently like posted a video about like who I am, what I care about, or testimonials from other people who have worked with me and kind of their experience so that we can build this trust on a regular basis. Like, this is kind of what you would get if you worked with me.
Yeah. I heard a little excitement in your voice.
Yeah. I feel like it started to become more clear. Like it's feeling like it's crystallizing for me. So this is really good. And this is like what I wanted, a mindset and also action step.
Yes. Wow. So overall for your business, you already have a name. You already have the overall tagline. It sounds like you've just come up with a subset tagline for the newlyweds of what's after happily ever after. You're talking about posting to Instagram with about love, truth, and boundaries, and then some about coaching. How is the stuck feeling for you right now?
I'm actually feeling much better.
Good.
Yeah, I really am feeling much better. Like it feels doable now. It doesn't feel like this abstract, like there's so many ideas and directions. I'm like, this feels like a good plan that I feel isn't out of reach. It doesn't feel like would be too hard to do. So that is really exciting.
And see, would it be possible for love, truth, and boundaries to be applied to other relationships later if you decide?
If I decide to branch out and make it more of an umbrella of all these different relationships. Yeah, I really do feel they're a foundational core truth for all relationships. But I think I could definitely start with just newlyweds. Might not know it yet.
Wow. Well, as we wrap up this call, It sounds like you had wanted to walk away with one concrete action step. How do you feel about your Instagram goals?
Great. I think, okay, so here's my action step. I'm going to do 5 posts a week, and I'm going to have like a different day for each one of these different topics. Like, and I don't have to put it out there like this is Love Monday, or but just for my own brain to kind of like, that's the other thing about the overwhelm is like, what am I going to post today? There's like a million options, but if I can say, hey, we're going to give one tip about unconditional love today. We're going to give one tip about boundaries today. One tip about truth today, like our honesty is kind of, radical honesty, or, then I feel like it would help my brain calm down and not get so freaked out and overwhelmed. And I just have 2 days off a week, so I don't feel like more rest.
Yeah. Do you feel like you might need someone to help keep you accountable to that, or are you pretty good on your own once you've set a goal?
I am actually pretty good about doing things once I kind of have the clarity and the confidence to do them, which I feel like this session has really helped with a lot. But yeah, accountability is always a good thing. Like that is, to someone saying like next week, let's see if you did it, So yeah, so that would be great. Maybe on our next coaching call, you can help me with that. Just ask
me. We'll make a note to check in on Instagram postings.
Yeah.
And as we wrap up, what is something you have learned about yourself through this call?
I feel like, I guess one thing I've learned is like, I have already done a lot of work on this. I kind of felt like the beginning, like, how could I still be nowhere after all, after all of this time that I've spent thinking about this and just feeling like spinning my wheels kind of. But this like shows me like, oh, look, you already had a name, a tagline, and these kinds of things that were floating in your brain, but just needed a tiny bit of tweaking and clarity and just commitment to them. And so that makes me feel better, like that I have already done a lot of work on this.
Good. Wow. Well, I can't wait to see where you take this, because I know it will be a success no matter how it ends up working out.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
It's been really
Thanks
good.
so much, Jessica.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.